Okay. Real Housewives of Orange County. This episode is entitled Singled Out. And Peacock gives us this description. Now, I'm going to blow your mind. I was really excited about it. You probably won't care. The description Peacock gives us is Shannon and Vicki head to St. Louis for their live tour. So they just give us that sentence. And I'm like, wait a sec. I've been complaining about this forever. I'm like, wait, there's so much more stuff that happens in this episode than that one thing. And then I was like, you know what? Let's check DirecTV and let's check what they say in their description, if it is the same description or not. I had this pulled up. I have too many screens. Oh, isn't that how it always is, folks? You have too many screens up. Okay, so DirecTV, same show, singled out, and it says Shannon and Vicki head to St. Louis for their live show tour. And then it continues. It says Heather and Alexis attend the GLAAD Awards. Tamra and Katie's daughters bond over similar childhood experiences. Jenn hosts a poolside party. What? They gave us 3 more lines to explain what happens. So is Peacock, you got to do better than that. What do you get charged by the letter over there? You got to put the whole how is DirecTV beating you, Peacock? You got to put the full show description to let us know if we want to watch this episode or not. I was like, what? I thought all of a sudden I felt like this is like Watergate or something. I felt like I really discovered something. Nobody really cares, but I care because I was like, this is so weird. Why do we only get these one sentence descriptions? Like Shannon and Vicki, that it is a historic show they're doing, but there was way more that has happened. Anyways, we open up this week's episode. We get all the scenes from the previous episodes, all the fights, Shannon, John Janssen, the $75,000, Gina and Katie going at it at the end of last week's episode. We start this week's episode in beautiful Orange County. The sun is shining, and Gina, she is walking to Shannon Beador's house, and she walks past Shannon's neighbor and has like this beautiful lemon tree in the front yard. And Gina just starts grabbing lemons. She's like, oh, just let me grab that. I mean, they have enough, you know? I mean, maybe maybe everything they're saying about Gina is true this season. I mean, now she's shoplifting lemons from this house to give to Shannon. And she's like, we're just going to take a couple, just, yeah, it's not 9 lemons, but I don't want to get her in trouble with the neighbors. And just starts ripping these lemons. I'm like, Gina, what do we do? We didn't pay for these lemons. She just rips them off. And of course, lemons mean something very big in Shannon Beador mythology because, the 9 lemons in a bowl. That was her Housewives tagline one season. When life gives you lemons, put 9 in a bowl. And then I went back and watched that scene from like many previous seasons ago with the feng shui lady when she was still with David. And I was watching this whole scene with the feng shui lady. And Shannon was talking like, oh, and Vicki's saying something, just so crazy about me. And they showed a flashback to the reunion where Vicki said she had proof that David had been physically abusive to her. And Shannon was like crying at the reunion. I forget like sometimes how insane this show and all of these shows are. And then this, by the way, this is from, what year is this from? This is on Facebook. I found this clip. It was from 2017. And then, you got to love the comments. The first 2 comments on this scene are, this guy writes, Shannon, I hate to tell you, but you're done. You need to face the facts. Nothing you do will change your personality. And now that you put on the weight, that just finished you off. David will stray next, and then you will really flip out. And no, I'm not kidding you. The vitriol. And look at Shannon Beador now. Skinny. Face, I mean, David's not there. I mean, right on that. But other than that, like, God, we are such an intense fan base. My God. But anyways, Gina shouldn't have stolen those lemons. That I can't imagine. Could you imagine, like, like the owner of that house, like, oh, our neighbors on TV, let's watch. And then you see Gina, and they're like, is that the lady that's big in real estate in Orange County? Wait. She's taking lemons from our front yard? What is going on? Anyways, so Gina gets these lemons, and all of a sudden we see Archie, and Archie is, you can tell Archie's had it by now. Archie's like, I didn't sign up for this. I was offered like a full-time house dog role, and they've offered me friend of. I don't even want to be here. Like he sees Gina at the front door, and he's like, "Oh shit, here we go." You can even tell Archie's like, "Where'd she get the lemons from?" And Gina's like, "Hi, Archie. Hi." And Shannon's like, "You look so nice, Gina. Thank you." And she's like, "Now I get dressed every day." And they do the "you look pretty, you look pretty." And Gina's like, "I was showing some homes prior, which is my favorite part. And I didn't bring you anything because I'm super busy, but I did just steal 2 lemons off of your neighbor's tree. So if you like." And she's like, "It's not 9, but it's." And Shannon's like, "I'll stick it in my lemon bowl." Well, let's talk about happy things, Shannon. How was Trace Amigas? Because remember, she had to leave the Sonoma thing because she had to go do the show with Vicki. And Shannon goes, "So good, so good." And she's like, what is it now? Is it Dos Amigas? And Shannon's like, "People enjoyed it, so I'm excited." And when's the next one? Is it coming soon? And Shannon's like, "It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. I'm leaving at 6:45 a.m. and we're flying to St. Louis to do the show." In a talking head, Shannon lets us know we created a business with the Trace Amigas. We formed an LLC. We had merchandise. So to all of a sudden hear that Tamra was out through our manager, it was devastating. And then we flash back to Vicki and Shannon, two creative artists collaborating. And Shannon's telling Vicki, we have to restructure the show. We got to take the videos out. And then we see that they are FaceTiming with the one, the only Sir Doug Buden. You know him from Jeff Lewis Live, and he's been on this podcast just like a month ago. He actually does. He's like he's the kind of the MC, and he keeps this show on track, this show running down the track. So we see Doug FaceTiming with these ladies. And Vicki's like, "We did so much work on we paid all the money. Can we do a big clown face over Tamra's face in the videos because they had video production? I mean, this thing, it's like Coachella, and they did it with Tamra. I mean, truly, take everything out of it. Imagine how they created an LLC, they created all of this merchandise, and then Tamra, they have to hear from their manager that Tamra is out. Like, that's a big I'm out. And I know Tamra's saying, "Oh, I didn't think it was healthy. Shannon had a drink," but like, come on. Like, that's a commit. When you create an LLC, that's pretty intense. Anyways, Doug is trying to like, "No, no, 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 ladies, because I feel like you got to make this your own. You got to make it your own. You got to make it the Shannon and the Vicki show, and we got to leave Tamra out of this." So, anyways, we flash back to this scene or flash forward to this scene, and Shannon's taking Gina, upstairs to see the place. You can tell now Gina's like, "Well, I could sell this place. I'm in real estate. Yeah." Shannon continues in a talking head. The Trace Amiga show had a formula and it was working. So now, how do we know if the show is going to be successful with just 2 of us instead of 3? There's a lot of unknowns out there. I mean, it's got to be like when the Beatles broke up, and then Paul went and did his thing, and then John like did his thing, and then Ringo, he was just over there, and then George, they all were just like, Paul was like, I don't know if they're going to like me without John, It's very similar to when the Beatles broke up. So Shannon is showing like Sophie's room, showing Shannon's room, and it looks the bed's made perfectly. And she's like, "This is so nice." God, do you wait. No, I'm just saying, like, how much? No, I'll say, how much action do you think Shannon's gotten in that bedroom? Like, do you think there's been any like gentleman callers? I feel so horrible even saying that, but she's a woman. She has needs. Who knows? There might be some gentleman callers in that bedroom. Anyways, Gina's just impressing Shannon with her real estate knowledge. She's like, "You've got the ceramic finishes. You have a fireplace." And Shannon's like, "Miss Real Estate here. Look at you. Wow." I guess it just comes out of me now. So Shannon goes, "Gina, what happened when I left Sonoma?" "Well, it was interesting, Shannon, because the next morning we did this bike ride, but we're all sitting there for lunch. And then Katie basically told Heather that I was only friends with Heather for her real estate connections or something." And Shannon's like, "You're already with a team. You're already with a team." That's what I'm saying, Shannon. I'm like, me and Katie basically got into it. First of all, I work so hard for all the business I get. Heather has brought me nothing in the way of real estate. And Shannon's like, well, maybe she heard that and took a different interpretation of it, you know? Well, for sure. So I think I'm just on this path where hopefully we've cleared it out. And we flash back to last week where they agree to bury it and hug. And she's like, well, I would like to continue to rebuild with Katie. I just need to be a little more cautious. Which, don't you think that's like one of the log lines for this entire show? Like, every housewife should be cautious. You don't know where the hits are going to come from. You don't know if it's people you brought on the show, people that have been there forever, people that are your friends. You're going to take hits. So anyways, we cut from that scene. We see some surfers because it's the OC, the beach, the traffic, and now we're at Vitally Coffee. And Katie walks in and she is meeting Emily and Jenn Pedranti. So it's a 3-person housewife scene. Emily orders some lunch. Katie gets a coffee. And then Jenn Pedranti comes in. Is like, what's up, ladies? Hi. It's Jenn Pedranti. Jenn says she's going to do some avocado toast. And she's like, hey, guys, ladies, I feel like it's my turn to pay because I haven't done that, in a while. So I'm going to pay for this. And Emily's like, well, why are we letting Jenn pay? Why? And Katie goes, I know, right? And Jenn goes, well, because I feel like I never do because you guys always feel so bad for me. And then Emily's like, I'm going to Venmo you. I was like, geez. Emily sometimes is so blunt. And it's like, there's a humorous aspect to it, but it's just like, why are we letting the person that bounced on $25,000 rent pay for our coffee? Are you kidding me? Like, they were like sitting there waiting that the card was going to go through. It was like, what a way to constantly remind somebody that we will never forget. We will never forget. Emily in a talking goes, I think it's a nice gesture. Sure, I know she can't pay her rent, but at least she can afford the coffee. Baby steps. Brutal. Anyways, they sit down and Jenn's like, I feel like I haven't caught up with you ladies. Emily, what's going on with your daughter, Annabelle? I see her posts and we see her post with like these fake eyelashes. It's pretty funny. And Katie goes, the text threads that you post between you and your daughter crack me up. And we see these text threads that, Emily's posted where her daughter's like, can you get me some body wash? Mom, please. I really need it. Mom. And then question mark. And Emily replies in the text, 5 minutes. Can you get your brothers? And she goes, when will you be here? And like, it's just this list, all of these texts that are just wild. And Emily says, I think that Annabelle is potentially it's very difficult, like the more difficult child of hers. And she tells the ladies, this is where I go wrong. I didn't have very much growing up, so I overcompensate by doing everything for her. And I give her everything she wants. And Jenn goes, that is kind of the spot where what I'm dealing with my son, Dawson. He doesn't see it any other way. It's like, well, what do you mean I need to? What do you mean? Like, I don't do anything. You do. You provide. Like, at some point, Dawson, you have to want this for yourself. In a talking head, she says, Dawson, he is the one that I might say one extra prayer over. He's rebellious. He kind of can push the limit. This is the way he's always been. And then we flash back to that scene from a couple episodes ago where Dawson, her son, is like, the moment we moved into Ryan's, it's like all of a sudden I have a curfew, be home at like 9:30. And Jenn's like, yeah, we need some stuff in place, And then we flash back to the Sonoma trip, which a scene we didn't get to see, where she's telling the ladies, Ryan's blowing up my phone. He said Dawson's banging on the door at midnight. And, fun Alexis goes, he shouldn't be home that late on a school night. He shouldn't, and Jenn's like, yeah, it's a school night. And Jenn's like, I see him going down a path that is not good. In a talking head, she says, I start seeing like things that I failed my kids in, chores, consequences. And so I need to lay the hammer down. And honestly, I don't even know how to do that. Once again, kind of with Jenn, it's a very interesting. I keep saying this. Sometimes I feel like Jenn has just been like frozen in carbonite for like the last 10 years. And she's now been awoken up and like, how do I pay rent? How do I do this? How do you drive a car? What? Like everything is new to her. Like, how do I lay down rules? And also, I will say, like, I think we all had curfews. Like 9:30 is pretty nice on a school night. If I came in at midnight on a school night, I think my dad would be like, "Oh, you got friends?" No, like it wouldn't fly. Are you kidding me? That would not fly in Becky Bailey's household. No way. I mean, just no way. Anyways, Jenn tells the ladies, I reached out to Dawson, her son, and I said, I want to have that conversation with you. And he said, yes. Which, by the way, I want to have that conversation with you. And then on camera. I always get nervous when because you feel like this is real, right? I feel like this is real. And then you add that camera element. And I don't think sometimes, and I feel like Jenn is a very real person. I really sense that she's real. Like she's not, all of her mistakes are being shown on camera. And I feel like she's being very open about them. And so sometimes, even though I want to see it as a viewer of the show, I think it's really fascinating. I sometimes wonder how that affects their relationship off camera. And especially when a show airs, because then this, Dawson is, you just don't know. You don't know how the world is going to react. You don't know if this kid's getting DMs from the Bravo audience of like, obey your mom, dude. I don't know why I made the Bravo audience sound like a bodybuilder. Anyways, Jen's like, I'll let you guys know how it goes. The women are like, we don't care. No. Then Emily goes, hey, Katie, what's going on with you and Gina? Have you seen her since Sonoma? And Katie goes, I haven't heard from her. No text, nothing. And Emily goes, I tell you, that last day when Shannon left the night before, it was so nice. It was like the whole time we'd be separated. And Jenn goes, Shannon felt very supported. And Emily's like, yeah, there was a lot of Shannon supporting going on. And Katie goes, did she text you back about the party to Jenn? And Jen's like, no. And then we find out that Jenn is going to have the girls over. We flash back to a scene where she's talking to Katie going, I want to have you girls over. I'm just trying to come into this space of Ryan's. Like, it's my space. It's my home. And Katie's like, it is your space now. I mean, you can have the ladies over. I mean, I know this is crazy, but it won't ever happen. But even if you wanted, you could pee on the cement outside. LOL. No, that'll be Tamra. And Jenn goes, I am going to invite Alexis. In this scene, Jenn goes, Shannon didn't respond back yesterday, but you know what I was thinking? She's doing her thing with Vicki, and so it'll be okay. So Shannon is not going to be there because she's doing her Coachella thing, the Vicki and Shannon live. So she's not going to be there. So it all works out. And now we flash then to the Gina and Shannon scene. And Shannon goes, I just wanted to tell you, Gina, my attorney called me late last night and said, have we heard anything from John's attorney? She's reading off the phone because he went back to him saying, like, you're flipping blackmailing now with this video thing. And he said, yes, they're actually standing on the fact that they want those videos for blackmail purposes. And Gina gives that face. She goes, oh, zoinks. Oh, like what? I'm loving Gina this season. Shannon continues. Their exact words were, John needs some sort of insurance policy in case Shannon goes off the rails. Okay. Now, is that I know we've said blackmail even in the scene, but isn't that proof of blackmail? Isn't like, I need some insurance policy until if Shannon goes off the rails. I mean, this is not a great example, but I was covering the Diddy case. He was using those freak off videos of those people. That's part of the extortion plot that he's also in those counts against Diddy, because he would use that to keep these people quiet. Say, oh, I got this video of you at a freak off party with 1,000 bottles of baby oil, right? I mean, to me, it's like, wait, is it looks very bad for John. Now, I do agree that I love yeah, of course. Yeah. Shannon's gone off the rails from time to time. Sure. In a world, we could see that, but you can't blackmail somebody. You can't. It's ridiculous. Shannon says, my attorney said he's going to file the lawsuit against me. Yeah. And let me remind you, Shannon has agreed to pay the full $75,000. That's what supposedly John Janssen wanted. But now the lawsuit is still going on. And this is what's so frustrating about Alexis. If you are going to bring this as a storyline onto the show and make Shannon comment on it, then you better damn well at some point tell us, why are you continuing with the lawsuit? If you are being offered what you were suing for, why is it still going on? That's the part that And it makes Alexis and it makes John look so much worse than they did before. Now we go back to Emily's scene, and Emily's talking about the lawsuit with the other girls. And she's like, I'm telling you, this lawsuit is going to backfire on John. He keeps trying to get his reputation back. This is not the way to do it. And then in a talking head, remember, Emily's a lawyer. Emily goes, under the California Penal Code, section 518, extortion is a criminal offense where the defendant threatens to expose a secret of another person. Huh? John's threat of the video sounds very extortion-like. Bad boy for life. That is I mean, I'm just going, like, isn't there like a Bravo judging panel? Like, can we take this to the Bravo Supreme Court? Like, John had to have known, like, listen, bro, you should have just signed it. I'm sorry that the disparagement clause was in there, but if it was, then Shannon would have kept her mouth shut about you too. Emily says, ladies, let me ask your opinion on something, okay? So when we were in Sonoma and we did the fashion show, my dress was like a size 12. At first, I was like, wait, where are we going? I was like, because I was so confused because it got brought up so quickly after the John Janssen. I was like, did John Janssen do something to Emily's clothing? This man's a monster. No, but it's not. She goes, first of all, I'm not a size 12, Emily says. I just want to say that. And Jen goes, wait, are you being serious? And Emily's like, no, I'm being serious. Yeah. But then Alexis had the same dress on, but hers was like a size 2 or 4 or something. It was like totally tiny and fit her perfectly. I felt like I looked like I was going to court. Which, Emily, by the way, I think that's a good thing because you're a badass. Court, that means you're badass. And Katie goes, you did look very like professional. And they show photos of this. And I'm sorry. I gotta tell, I mean, I'm not sorry. I think Emily looks beautiful. Like beautiful. I really do. And I mean, like, I thought the professional look kind of looked sexy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I thought it looked great. Emily says, I realized at the end, when everybody wore the white shirts, like I was the only person that brought their own jeans to wear. And Katie's like, what? And we see a picture of the night. And Emily goes, then I thought she did that because it was like, I'm too big to be able to fit in anything that she had. It hurt a little. And Katie goes, of course it did. And then Emily goes, I went in the bathroom, I had a little mini breakdown, and I cried a little bit because I felt like, again, I was like not fitting in. You know what I mean? And no one wants to feel like that. Everybody wants to feel like they can fit into clothes. I don't know, she says. In a talking head, she says, I don't think Heather is malicious in this circumstance. I do think Heather is just unaware of how much work and time and effort I put into myself. And they show a picture of Emily from, a couple years ago and Emily now. And man, what an amazing difference. And we see her then working out before and after. Emily says, I just wish that maybe she saw that and thought, let's put Emily into the leather pants. By the way, Emily, if you're listening, or Shane, if you're listening, you got to wear leather pants to the reunion. You got to wear leather pants to the reunion. I know we do the dresses, but man, you come out, you're like Sandy at the end of Grease, where it's like, tell me about it, stud. Maybe come on with a cigarette and stomp the cigarette out. And then, John Travolta would be like, Sandy, Emily, what are you? Wah-ba-ba-loo-ba, what? Anyway, she says, I always feel like the big girl, And Katie's like, oh, Emily. And Jen's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And she's like, am I being unreasonable, lady? I guess that's my question. And Katie goes, I know. I mean, you feel how you feel. You can't help that. Maybe I can go have a conversation with Heather, but let me just tell you, I'm very emotional. Like I'm up and down. And then she lets the ladies know she just got a testosterone implant in my butt. And Katie's like, the pellets. Yeah. How does everybody fucking know it? Like what pellet? I thought they're like wood pellets on like a grill or something, if you're smoking something. There's testosterone pellets? Emily says, yeah, I asked the doctor, is the testosterone going to make me more emotional? Yeah, like putting testosterone in me sounds like a bad plan. Which, by the way, then I love that this kind of like is the precursor to the event where Emily freaks out. Like, go fuck yourself, you fucking, go fuck John Janssen some more, Alexis. Fun Lexi this. Like, is that the pellets doing the talking? And Jen's like, yeah, I mean, how many pellets did you put in, right? I know, right? And they're all laughing. But you can tell they're like a little scared. I have a lot to say about this. First off, I made this revelation on the Jeff Lewis show weeks ago. I think I've told you guys about it, but if not, and I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. I've been getting a lot of going to a lot of doctor's appointments and all that. I was on a podcast or something where I had to pause because my doctor called, and it's hard to get doctors on the phone. And they called and they said, "Hey, I just want to let you know we got a test result back. You have very low testosterone." And I was like, and I was like the opposite of surprised. I was like, "Yeah, of course, no, yeah, totally." It's like, yeah. And they're like, okay, so yeah, when you go to the endocrinologist, I have this endocrinologist appointment in October. They're gonna, they're gonna work with that. But I was like, yeah, of course. I feel like I've probably like look what I do with my life. What are you talking about? I fucking talk about Housewives and things. I mean, I felt like I'm shocked. I'm like, you said I have any testosterone? That's amazing. I was like, wow, okay, so I have a little testosterone. Anyways, so maybe I'm gonna get the pellets or something. Maybe I'm gonna be Emily. But the other point of this is this is a very real issue that Emily is going through, and I don't think anybody can properly understand it unless at some point in your life you have been heavy. And I am heavy right now. I've been heavy at other points in my life, and it is the worst. You always then, even when you do lose weight and do get on a good path, you always feel like you are the heaviest you've ever been. It never goes away, that image. And whether you're trying on clothes, how and so some people think it's like a narcissistic thing, but it's this thing of you just feel like a horrible something. You feel like a monster. You feel so gross. And half the time, yeah, you're nobody else does feel that way about you, but it's in your head and it's so powerful, those thoughts. And you want to fit in and you want to be like everybody else. Man, you want to wear the skinny jeans. You want, like, there's so many things that go into it. And it's something that I deal with every day of my life. And so I completely relate to Emily. And I also feel like, for somebody like Heather, when that conversation happens at the end, I don't think Emily has ever, in fact, it might be the other way for Heather is that, maybe she's been called too skinny or too thin. And I don't know if she's had, issues with that or feelings about that. But, I think people that have been heavier or are heavy now, they know exactly what Emily is talking about. And so Katie is right. Like, it doesn't matter if if that's true or not, it's how you felt. Like, I don't think Heather was purposely doing that to Emily. But I do completely understand why Emily would think that. That's how you view the world. That's your whole worldview because that's how you see yourself. So you think everybody sees you like that as well. And no matter how much you work out, eat right, and you start, losing weight, there are moments that you're proud and happy, and there are moments where you look, you're like, okay, I think I like myself here a little bit, and then that goes away because you see one random photo of yourself, or you remember something, and it puts you right back in that spot. You have to fight this. It is a daily fight. And I just don't think anybody truly understands it unless they've been there. So I totally understand where Emily is coming from, but I also kind of understood where Heather came from. I just don't think there was that friendship element of I wasn't doing that, but I hear you. I want to hear you. You're beautiful. So we pick up on a new scene after the commercial break, and Heather Dubrow is at her high-rise apartment in Beverly Hills where she can see Drake's house, and she is getting done up for the GLAAD Awards, and she's filming content. She has Martin Katz there, jeweler to the stars, and she lets us know it's such an honor to be asked to present at the GLAAD Awards, and she has been supporting the gay and lesbian alliance even before her kids identified that way. And so it is a huge, she's very excited to be asked to present. um so we see her, we see all of these stars at the event. We see Jennifer Tilly, we see Dylan Mulvaney, and she keeps going. Not only is this an incredible organization, this is a star-studded event. And we see a picture of Oprah. Oprah is at this GLAAD event. Heather lets us know GLAAD has one of the largest platforms in the LGBTQIA plus community. For Terry and I to be able to support the work that GLAAD does make me feel like I am making a difference and I am on the right path. Yeah, like you can't fault Heather for the charities that she chooses to give her time to. Well, you make fun of her for other things, but this you can't. So she's there, she's talking to the organizer. She's like, what a great night, what a great show it's gonna be. Oprah's here. And then Terry walks up and he's like, Terry Dubrow's also here. Terry Dubrow's here. Um, so they are both very excited to be there. I don't see paparazzi anywhere. And we find out that she is presenting with Meredith Marks from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're presenting Outstanding Reality Competition Program, which is a very important one, the organizer says. So they're going over the show. We'll grab you 10 minutes before the show. And Terry and her have a private moment. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of us. And I'm proud. I'm just so proud. And Heather's like, I'm proud of our family. And he goes, I'm still ready for them to all move out though. Huh? Huh? And Heather's like, we are helping to send them into the world, in a world that's a little better and more inclusive for them. And Terry's like, the problem, honestly, is that they're so accepted in our family. I don't know if they're aware of the struggles this community can be exposed to. I mean, that's such an interesting point Terry brings up too. I mean, that's what I'm not thankful I'm not a parent, but that's got to be the scary thing to be a parent is how hard do you love your kids? And I mean, that's what I would imagine a struggle is like, what's that danger of making them live in a bubble and then going into the outside world and dealing with struggle and where everything, isn't there for you. And I'm not saying that that's the situation here, but it is interesting. Like they are so accepting that you have to also, how do you balance that with kids to make them understand also the horrors of the world? I mean, it just God. Anyways, Heather and I talking that goes, they don't know anything but love and support. And I'm glad that's true. Even though they know there's lots of kids out there that don't have what they have, I'm glad that they just feel normal. I mean, they do feel normal, but like at one point, didn't they have like a bowling alley in their house? I mean, that's just not, they do seem like well-adjusted, good kids, but man, normal is a hard word to use. But I don't know. Anyways, Terry's like, anyways, where's Oprah? Where's Oprah? I want to meet Oprah. Can you imagine that? Like, Terry Dubrow. Oh, what's up, Oprah? How you doing? Great work. I noticed that you got a very subtle lower bleph right there. I'm loving what I'm seeing. But if you need anything, hey, you're not going to be on Botch next season. You know what I'm saying? Where's that scene? Come on. So we see the GLAAD Awards event, the 35th GLAAD Awards, and we see here's Bravo Real Housewives, Meredith Marks and Heather Dubrow. And then we get a shot of the audience. Guess who she brought with her? Fun Lexi, Alexis Bellino. And she goes, there's my girl. There's my girl. Oprah's like, girl, shut up. And Heather says, as the mother of 3 queer kids, I want to build a world where they can grow up happy, healthy, and safe from attack. And Meredith goes, you can leave if you choose to attack. Anyways, Meredith goes, that's the reality that we want to see. Thank you. Fun Lexi says, all 3 of my kids are each trying to find their own way in the world. And which it also shows you, even with this Alexis thing, it shows you we can be upset about Alexis for how she's presenting herself on this show or how the show is choosing to present her on the show, but she's probably a really great mom. Not everybody, like you can dislike somebody, but at the same time, they can be great at something else. And we might not just see that. Anyways, Alexis says, I am here to create a world that is loving, kind, and accepting for everybody in my family. We just will not accept Heather, Shannon Storm's Beador. Sorry, I almost said Heather. Anyways, there's a bottle of Veuve Clicquot that is sold for $6,500. Doctor and Heather Dubrow bought this. The most expensive Veuve Clicquot. It's a nice champagne, but it's like $110 a bottle. And by the way, if it really quickly, you see a shot of Chrishell from Selling Sunset and G-Flip. We see them. Chrishell is sitting right next to Heather Dubrow. Very exciting. So they bought $6,500 champagne, totally normal, but for a good cause. And now we go to a scene where Katie and her daughter, they're going to a candle making class. That's right, folks. It doesn't get more exciting than this. let's make some candles. But I'm sure a lot of people do dig that. Anyways, who's meeting them is Tamra and Tamra's daughter. So we got a foursome right here. We got the two daughters and Tamra and Katie. So this is cute. They're gonna hang out and be buddies, or they've been hanging out. And Kylie meets Tamra, and I would love to get Kylie's I felt a very dark energy. So Kylie and Sophia, they've only been friends for a little bit of time. Katie lets us know, but they're both artists. They're both gamers. They both come from weird past with their biological fathers. So they are very similar. Which is interesting to think about in the fact that, we've heard Katie's story about her ex, which, I mean, there is similarities here. So they're going around smelling the candle scents to make. And Tamra goes, "Oh, Sophia said that you showed her a picture of the boyfriend," talking to Katie's daughter. And Kaylee's like, "Oh, no, the guy, it's just not a boyfriend. It's the guy I'm talking to." And, I'd say he said, "I love you" over text in the first week. And then he got really mad when I didn't say it back, and then gaslit me into trying to say it back. In a talking head, Kaylee says, "Definitely a red flag that I look out for is negativity in general. If a guy is like even slightly mean to me, I'm out." And then she continues in the scene with Tamara. She's like, "And then the guy gave me COVID. This guy." And then Katie goes, "He gave our whole family COVID." Who is this? Do we got a John Janssen Jr. in the midst? Whoa. Do we have a Brooks? God, this guy sounds horrible. I gave the whole family COVID. And then Tamara, you can already guess what she says. "Better than an STD. Sexually transmitted disease." Yeah. And then Tamara goes, "That shit never goes away." What is Tamara making a joke, or is the storyline this season going to be that Tamara's like, I fought with an STD for the last 16 years. Like, are you just going to be the face of STDs at this point? I don't know. So Tamara's laughing. She's like, ah. Then Katie, the talking head, is talking about her daughter, goes, "I think she's very jaded from seeing the relationship I had with her dad. He was really hard on all of us. And now she's hard on men." Which, by the way, girls should be hard on men. I mean, like, we've given pretty much like no reason to take us lightly. Like, I mean, that is the way to be. But I understand what she's saying. Like, she watched, her parental units have the bad relationship they did, and kids pick up on those things. So now they make candles, and I just completely zone out. And Tamara's saying, "Okay, so your son, who's 14, still lives in Georgia with her dad." And she says, "Is that hard?" And Katie's like, "Yeah, extremely. But like, if I can put my son on a plane 4 times a year and like just say goodbye and watch his plane leave, I can literally do anything." She lets us know in a talking head, "Every time I drop him off, it just feels very unnatural to say goodbye to him." She tells Tamara he doesn't want to leave his friends. And Tamara goes, "Sometimes you need to let a kid go too." Katie says, "I stand there and watch his plane take off. It's horrible, but I have to tell myself every time this is what makes him happy. So it's got to make me happy." And she's tearing up in this talking head. And she lets us know she had just did this, seeing him go on a plane. And that's why it's, so fresh. Tamara goes, "The moral of this story is STDs last for life. Am I right?" No, but okay. No, she says, "The lesson here is be careful who you procreate with." And Katie's like, "Oh, yes. Oh, yes." And Tamara goes, "Make sure they're a solid person. And you know what? Hey, maybe make sure you don't take candlelit bathtubs with them on TV like you did with Eddie years ago." And then Sophia, she hops into the conversation and she goes, "And you wonder why I don't want to get married. You wonder why I don't want to get married, Mom." And Katie's like, "Kaylee says the same thing." And Tamara goes, "I know why you don't want to get married, but I don't want you to be down on marriage because of what went down between me and your dad." And Sophia goes, most marriages don't end well. That's the reality of it. Sophia might be my favorite character on this show. It's like, that's the reality of it. And then Tamara goes, "You also don't want to have kids, right?" And she's like, no. And Tamara goes, "I feel like you could change your mind." And Sophie's like, no. "I think it's really irresponsible to bring kids in the world," she says, "just because you're married or you're in love, you think it's going to save your marriage or anything." Katie goes, I totally agree with you, Sophia. Sophia continues, if you have kids, you need to want to have kids 100%. There's no 50%ing or anything. Like, you need to want to have kids. In a talking head, Sophia has her own talking head now. And by the way, she went from brunette to kind of blondish in the talking head. She says, it is so irresponsible to commit to something that big. It's not just getting a dog or getting a cat. It's a human being. And if you are not a good parent, that could ruin them. And you have to imagine who she's talking about here. Is she talking about Simon, her dad? Is she talking about Tamra as well? Is she talking about both of them? But you can see that it affects kids. And that's what she's telling us. You know, she's saying, hey, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to be married. It's really irresponsible. All of these things that people do. I mean, it's a very bleak worldview, but I totally understand why she has it. Then in Tamra's talking head, she goes, Simon wasn't a great husband. He's not a great dad. It's hard because he's the father. And then this is Tamra starting to tear up. And like I always say, just because I've seen Tamra on this show so many times, I always don't know if I can trust these tears. And that's a horrible thing to say. Like, I feel bad, but we just had a couple of episodes ago when in a talking head, she said she felt bad for Simon, that his daughter doesn't want to have a relationship with him. And if he's a bad dad, then Tamra's other daughter wants to stay with Simon and doesn't have a relationship with Tamra. So I'm so confused. And also, I mean, I just, your head whips sometimes because she just said a couple episodes ago that she feels bad for Simon. But now she's saying Simon's a horrible dad, was a horrible husband. And she says, it's hard because he's the father of my kid and I wouldn't have them if it wasn't for him. But there's a part of me that hates him so much, so much. And you also then have to think that her daughter that she is alienated from is going to see this or hear about this, and it just reopens that wound of like, yo, I don't want you to keep talking like this about my dad. I don't want this. Sophia has a talking head and goes, I was so young when my parents went through the divorce. Definitely the residual energy after that has affected how I feel about specifically marriage, which then makes you think, because she did go with Tamra, that Tamra's reaction to Simon and all that, that's the residualness she's picking up on of Tamra's anger at Simon. I mean, by the way, this isn't some detective sleuthing. We all can figure this out, but it really is interesting to see firsthand that it affects the kids. Anyways, Katie goes, you girls are a lot more similar than I thought. And then Tamra goes, my candle is smelling very good. It's kind of like the Gwyneth Paltrow vagina goop candle. No, she didn't say that. She just says it smells good. I don't know. Anyways, we get out of that scene and we pick up on after the commercial break and we see like, a map and like a plane, and we hear Vicki Gunvalson say, we're selling out shows like we're Adele. And you see it going to St. Louis, I think Adele just like sold out Munich like 30 nights in a row on top of her Vegas residency. But I'm sure Adele could not sell out Helium Comedy Nightclub in St. Louis. There's no way. So Shannon and Vicki get to their hotel room. They're already doing comedy bits, just trying to get into the door. I'm already rolling. They're wearing Shannon and Vicki merch. And Shannon's like, I'm on the door. And you can only imagine how Vicki's pus belly is doing, that she let us know in the first episode of this season. So they're bringing their props in, and Shannon goes, going on the road with Vicki is just fun. It's a way for me to get out of Orange County and, kind of feel like I'm living life a little bit. You can only imagine Archie's at home, just with like a big cigar, watching what he, eating what he wants, watching what he wants, just chill. He doesn't have to worry about cameras. He's like, I got it. Go enjoy St. Louis. But Shannon goes, it's good for me to be here. I feel like I'm living life a little bit. And then Vicki goes, what day is today? Is it Thursday? And she pulls out her like big pill container. And then Shannon's doing a little shuffle ball heel. And we flash back to Vicki and Shannon doing dance classes. Shuffle ball heel, which I imagine they do some dance number in the show. And I'm like, yeah, Adele don't do no dance number in her shows. Guess who does? Shannon and Vicki live. And by the way, they're dressed like schoolgirls in this. Do they have like a Britney Spears number or something? Anyway, so Shannon is tapping and Vicki goes, I love the tap shoe idea. I think we are incorporating really good things since the Trace Amigas quit. So happy. Shannon says, I never would have thought. I'd be sitting here saying, well, thank goodness Tamra dropped out because it's a different show without her. And then Vicki goes, if we didn't have the slingshot and I just went like this, and she throws a towel at Shannon and she's like, it's not going to hurt you. And I don't even know what she means by slingshot at this point. I'm like, wait. Vicki's got a slingshot? I thought, wait, is this legal? And then Shannon and talking, and goes, we're not completely well received by everyone. Like, we notice, is this too long? Is this slow? Were people bored at this part? So it's a work in progress. Could you imagine if Shannon Beador came out and did like a Shakespearean monologue? You know, like to be or not to be? That is the question. Yeah. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. Anyways, Shannon lets us know the creative process. They're tweaking as they go. I mean, they are workshopping this show, not unlike the hit musical Rent, where it was off Broadway for a really long time as they reworked it to make it the hit musical that it is today, right? I don't even know why I use that as an example. So now we hear Doug's voice and Vicki going, where are we? And Doug's like, we're at the club. We're at the club, Vicki. And Shannon and Vicki get out of the SUV and Vicki just goes, the Shannon and Vicki show. And we hear like two people like screaming in the background and Vicki goes, woo, woo. Okay. So obviously there were fans to greet them. I don't know why we didn't get to see the fans. Maybe we didn't get the release signed. So they're in the green room of the Helium Comedy Nightclub. And the waitress comes back to say, hey, do you guys want anything? And Vicki goes, I'll do a tequila soda with a lime. I'll do a, And then now it's Shannon Beador's turn. And she's very quiet. She's like, do you have, I don't know, Tito's, Grey Goose, whatever, soda? Okay. And Doug's like, let's go look at our room. Let's go look at the stage. Doug, I mean, he's like fiddling with tinsel and he's just, I mean, truly, this man is so needed with these women, but they've got to make a documentary of just a day in the life of Doug when he's on the road with these ladies. So anyways, they go to the stage and Shannon's like, we got to try the slingshot, Vicki. We got to test the props. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's an actual slingshot. And Doug's holding one side, Vicki's holding one side, and what they're doing is they're slingshotting t-shirts into the crowd, which I'm like, somebody's gonna die. This is gonna be like Altamont. This is not going to be good. Could you imagine losing an eye because Vicki slingshotted a Shannon and Vicki t-shirt at you? They barely can do this, and Doug's like, release the shirts, and they're not doing really good at the slingshot. But Vicki says in a talking head, I think it's going to be so much fun that we slingshot these t-shirts out into the audience because I was just at an Adele concert and she did it with this big, powerful gun and nobody got hurt. Nobody. I like that Vicki's always, that's a creative mind. She's always thinking, she's like Adele. And that's how artists push each other because then Adele's going to see Shannon and Vicki's show and be like, oh my God, I'm going to incorporate this a shuffleball change into my next show. So it's just elevating these show. I think both of their shows are neck and neck. And I think it's pushing both of them to greatness. Right. So the manager goes, you know, what's going to happen. You're going to end up killing somebody. And Shannon and I talking, and I goes, Vicki and I are never short of ideas. And some of them are very silly and dumb. Yeah, but that's creative. You gotta dare to suck. You gotta get all the bad ideas out of the way before you get one good idea. Anyways, Vicki's like, it's not working. We got to go back to the drawing board on the slingshot. Okay, so we cut from that. We see the sun go down in Orange County, and all of a sudden, Jenn Pedranti, we're at Ryan's place where Jenn and the family lives now, and Dawson, her son, comes in. She's like, Doss, come over here and see me. We're going to do a TV scene now. And she's like, sit down. He's like, why? And his hair's kind of that floppy teenage length. We're like, I can't even deal with you right now. And he's like, why? She's like, because I haven't seen you. That's why. Why are you in a hurry? No, I'm just curious what we're going to talk about. And Jenn goes, all the amazing things in life. Huh. Everything's good, Dawson? I guess so. Okay, well, when I was with the girls in Sonoma, you came in past curfew, you woke everybody up, and this is what I want you to be honest with me, Dawson, because I'll call you and I'll say, "Come home because we're gonna make dinner." And you'll say, "Okay." And then 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, where are you? I don't understand that. What is your thinking on that? And why? And he goes, "Well, I mean, sometimes I like I just sit in my car because I feel like I don't really want to come here." Oh, brutal. And Jen's like, "Why do you not want to be here? Do you not feel comfortable here? Do you not like Ryan?" Don't He's like, "Don't say that. I do like Ryan. I'm just trying to understand, Dawson. I feel like this is the only thing you talk about." Because it matters, Dawson. He goes, "I just feel like you're always in my ear." Welcome to being a mom, right? Welcome to having a mom. That's what good moms do. I mean, that's what moms do. He goes, "I feel like we never talk about anything else besides what's wrong with Dawson. That's all we talk about, mom." You think as your mom, I'm going to let you not get up for school on time? You think I'm just going to let you flunk school? Is that why you don't want to be here? Because you don't want to deal with mom being more strict? And he goes, "Honestly, I feel like when I'm here, I don't really have personal space. By the way, this house of Ryan's looks huge, huge." And then he goes, "You text and call me all the time. And while dad does have a 1 bedroom apartment, he understands that it's his space and it's my space. And we both respect each other. Being here, my space wasn't really respected. And so I feel like it would be better to go somewhere where it is." So this is so wild, you guys, because he's saying that her ex-husband has a 1 bedroom apartment and he would rather go there because he doesn't feel like he has personal space here, even though he has his own room here. I mean, that is tragic. And because he says he likes Ryan. So I don't know what that necessarily means, or if it's that teenage thing when freedom does become this big deal, and maybe it's a little bit of a looser leash over at his dad's. But I don't know. That's all speculation. But this is a very real scene. And I mean, you can tell it's a real scene. And by this, Jenn tears up hearing this, that he doesn't want to be here. And then he goes even harder. He goes, "I do feel like I'm closer to dad." And by the way, he's saying it not angry. He's just saying it matter of fact. And he's not really even saying it in a cutting, like, "I feel like I'm closer to dad." He's just like, "I do feel like it." Like, it's very real. He goes, "I feel like if I could, I would like to be closer with you." And she's like, "But Dawson, I don't have these conversations to harp on you. I see myself so much in you. I wanted to have fun. I was kind of careless about school, but if somebody would have made me realize at 17 the potential I had, I wouldn't be sitting at 46 where I sit. I would have hustled. I would have done more. And I just feel like if I could instill that in you, my gosh, you could move the entire world." Oh, man. Perfect thing to say from Jenn. I also wish she had continued. I wish I knew what a rent payment was. No, I'm joking. I wish I knew. Like, no. But she's saying, like, listen, all of this life has gone by and I got these amazing kids out of it, but look at me now. Like, I didn't know my potential. I wasn't concerned with any of that stuff. I want you to really take an interest in your life, because you have such potential. In a talking head, she says, "I wish I would have invested in myself because I wouldn't sit here trying to figure out my rent, trying to figure out where to live with my kids, trying to figure out how to get bills paid." And she says, "I feel like a failure sometimes for sure. This isn't where I was supposed to be. This isn't what I was supposed to do. And so I take it so personal for my kids because I want it so different for them." She tells Dawson, she says, "I apologize for coming across as being annoying, but I'll probably always be annoying whenever I think that there's something I see in you that I want you to see in yourself. So I will do better about giving you your space. But the one thing I won't do, Dawson, is I'm never not going to be your mom. I will never, ever, ever stop doing whatever I have to." She's tearing up now, "for the better of you. Even if it means you're aging to go live with your dad." She says in the talking head, "I feel freaking sick, but I am going to let him do it. It goes against everything in my being, but I'm going to do it. And then my hope is he comes back." And we see them hug on the couch. And the scene she goes, and I love you so much, Dawson. And he's hugging her. He kisses her on the cheek and she says, love you too. Ah, man, that was really intense and real. And, you know, she's always going to be his mom. And I really empathize with what she's going through in life, and sometimes thinking, man, did I just make a mess of my entire life and blow up my life and therefore blow up my kid's life? And that is so much weight and responsibility. And that's, I mean, I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. That's why I think she's one of the realer characters on OC. I mean, he's a little out there at times, and I'm curious about the Ryan relationship more, as you know, more will be revealed. But it does seem like her heart's in the right place, unless she's a completely different person off camera. And I'm sure more stuff will come out. I can't believe Bravo fanatics haven't found out the ins and outs of her previous relationship. But I don't know how that's played a role in this. And you would think that this kid all of a sudden has this huge mansion to live in, as opposed to a 1-bedroom apartment. And how much freedom. But there is an element of, when you're 17, 16, 17, that freedom thing, you want to be out there with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You want, you know, like, and then if something is awry at home, if your parents are splitting up, then that gives you almost this permission of like, oh, I can't be around this energy, which we heard Sophia say it in the previous scene. But by the way, we need Dawson to hang out with Sophia and Kaylee. That would be interesting. All three of them talk about their parents' previous relationships. And also, it just, God, it made me think so much of "I'm always going to be your mom." I don't know if I've ever told this story on here, and it really just broke my heart. It was like in the last year of mom's life, and I've alluded to this before, but her mind was slipping. Like, she was on so much different kind of medications, and we always suspected towards the end that there might have been brain cancer on top of the adrenal cancer. And, because she would just make up things that weren't happening. And it broke your heart. And I remember we had this, like, we were talking about something, and it was a disagreement, but it wasn't insane. But all of a sudden, she got very angry at me, which she didn't really do a lot. And my dad was there, and and I remember it was after the BravoCon where I lost, or my wallet or my stuff got stolen. If you guys remember that a couple years ago, and she I remember I got a red wallet in the mail, and it didn't say who it was from. It just said it was from not your mother, not your mom. And so I thought it was one of the listeners that got my address or something. I was like, "Oh," I had no clue who sent it to me. And me and my mom hadn't talked in like a couple of days, or I'd texted her, but she wouldn't text back. And I was like, "Why? She's still mad at this thing that I don't understand what she's mad about." And my mom finally texted me, "Did you get your wallet?" And it had come from her. And I called her and said, "Mom, what is this?" And she said, "Well, because you said I'm not your mom anymore." And I was like, what are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, when we had that little argument, you said that she thought I screamed at her, 'You're not my mom anymore.'" And I never said anything. I mean, you guys know, I would never say anything like that in a million. If I was even the angriest I'd ever been at my mom, I would never say that. Never in a million years. And she created this scene in her mind that did not happen. And it still breaks my heart. Like, there are so many little instances like that in that last year where she would just, mm, make up, not make just where you're like, "Mom, you thought I said that? Like, that was real to you?" And we were both crying on the phone. I said, "Mom, no, you're always my mom. You're always." And she's like, "No, and I will always be your mom. You're always my son." I'm like, "Mom, I know that. I'm so proud of that." And, it's like, I would never, ever. I was so bummed that she thought I said that. And my dad was like, "Yeah, it's just not, things like this are happening more and more." And, but I also thought it was funny that she got me a red wallet and said, "Not your mom." Like, she kind of then was like a little petty with it of like, "Not your mom." It's like, "How, here's a new wallet from not your mom." And it made me laugh, but it also broke my heart at the same time. So when I see these scenes with moms who I can tell that Jenn loves her son so much, and it reminds me so much of my mom, it just bums me out. And I was not rebellious. Maybe Dawson's a little rebellious. I wasn't like that. I was pretty good kid. I got rebellious later in life, but I don't know. That scene really touched me. I don't know if it was just me, but I really loved that. Okay, enough of that sappy shit. We cut to all the ladies getting ready for Jenn Pedranti's party, and the standout here is Gina and Emily are getting ready together over at Emily's, and Emily has these, I think these leather pants, and she's like, they're big in the waist and tight in the ass, and then Gina goes, "You look like Janet Jackson, whoo," which is a Michael Jackson thing, whoo, and she does the little crotch grab. I'm like, that's Michael Jackson. You look like Michael Jackson. No, she said, "You look like Janet Jackson." And then she laughs. Okay, we cut from there, and we're now at the Helium Comedy Club, and we hear Doug Buten's voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shannon Storms Beador and Vicki Gunvalson." Great announcing by Doug. They come on. The crowd is very, very excited to see them. And Vicki's like, "You know what? I want a shot of tequila." And they're all cheersing, and Shannon gives a, "Oh boy, alcohol, am I right?" And then Vicki goes, "We're not driving tonight." And Shannon goes, I'll do a sip. And then this audience, these dum-dums go, "Yeah, no, let's not encourage, no. This is, we can be funny without it." But they're all like clapping, like, oh God. We cut then to Jenn Pedranti's house. It's Jen's fiesta party is what we're calling it. We see a chef there grilling some fajita onions and peppers, and it's all the dogs are, her dogs are there, and Tamra gets there first, and the dogs go crazy because I think they sense something evil. Anyways, Tamra looks great. She's in this like I don't even know, like this strappy thing where you can see her stomach. I don't know how to describe fashion, you guys. It's a real blind spot for me. Katie shows up. The dogs go crazy again. And I don't think, anyways. So they're back. They're outside, and we see Willow, Jen's dog. And this Willow reminds me of my dog, Brooklyn. Just a little funny little face. Oh, I love dogs. And Tamara's like, "How old is that dog?" And, old? And Jen's like, "Not very old." And Tamara's like, "What? A dog looks 120. Are you kidding me?" Poor Willow. Willow doesn't deserve this. So Katie comes out, hugs, everybody looks pretty, that kind of thing. And then we have another SUV pulling up. Who could it be? It's Janet, Jackson, Emily, Simpson, and Gina. Emily has never been to Ryan's house, but Gina says, "I have been to Ryan's house." And we do a flashback of Shannon and Gina getting a tour. And Gina in her real estate glory in this scene is like, "Oh, this is like a little bonus loft." And Shannon's like, "What were these rooms before?" And Jen's like, "Just empty." And Shannon's like, "It doesn't seem like you're packed in." So, there's a lot of space that Ryan has given to these bedrooms. It's a really nice place. Tons of space. You can tell Gina's like, "What the fuck? I lived in a casita." And Gina the Tucking goes, "If I can make it work, like, you definitely need to make this shit work, girl. You have a fucking water feature in your backyard." And the pool does have this beautiful water feature. And then Gina goes, "Like, the struggle is real? Are you kidding me? Oh my God." So they're all back, getting drinks, and there's no espresso martini this time for Emily, but Emily takes one of the margaritas, there's a frozen margarita machine. I love frozen margarita machines. Tahine rib, yes. Emily says, "Move it, chubby," to one of the dogs. And she's like, "No, I'm just kidding. And Tamara goes, "The dog needs Ozempic." And Emily goes, "I know where she can get some." And then Gina goes, "Don't say that. People think you're on Ozempic, Emily." And Emily's like, "I'm not on Ozempic. That's why I have to wear jeans." So she brings that jean thing from Heather right out in there. I don't even think anybody picked up on what she was talking about. She's like, "That's why I have to wear jeans at fashion shows." Now, Heather Dubrow gets out of her SUV, very demure, comes in with a gift, as only Heather Dubrow does. And so she comes out, And Heather's like, I can perch over here on this side of the couch. This is so beautiful, Jenn. What a beautiful home. And Jen goes, whoever's hungry, feel free to go over and grab tacos. And Heather's, I enjoy tacos. I will eat a taco. So Emily goes to get some tacos, and Gina asks Jenn, hey, what's been going on with you? And Jenn goes, Dawson, he lives here. Well, he was here last night. So they're like, how's that going? Well, he said for now he wants to stay at his dad's. And Ryan was kind of like, look, your mom and I want you here. This is home. If you're here, there's some curfews and some guidelines. That's all we ask. Just stay on top of the grades, come on home on time, or let us know when you're going to be late. And Heather goes, I think they all do that. I mean, I don't know. Heather's got such, I don't know. I don't have kids, but like, I think it's a little bit of a different situation with Heather and Terry. They've been together as a united front the entire time that their kids have been with them. So it's a little bit, they all do that. Maybe they all don't. And so Heather says, Katerina came home at 3 a.m. She goes, and she was like, I asked why you came home at 3 a.m. And she's like, well, I wasn't driving. It doesn't matter. And Heather's like, you being on the road at that time. And Gina's like, it's a bad time to be out 3 a.m. It is a bad time to be out. And Tamra goes, who's out at 3 a.m.? And Emily's like, the DUIers. And Tamra's like, the drunks. Yeah, the drunks. Which, by the way, shout out to Tamra for not yelling, Shannon Beador. But I will say the editors do something really devious right here as they cut from Tamra saying that to the Shannon and Vicki live show. And Shannon saying, oh, can I just say I did get arrested for DUI. I made a very horrible mistake. By the way, she goes, I did get arrested for DUI. And there's one sole person in the audience that's like, woo! You hear one clap of like, who's clapping? I did get arrested for DUI. Woo! All right. And then Shannon continues, I made a very horrible mistake and I am working on myself. And I think it took me to get to that place to make changes for myself. And then they all clap on that one. And Shannon's like, oh, thank you guys. It means a lot. It means a lot. Vicki and Tuck goes, I think it's super important for Shannon, especially to have this show as an outlet to show the people that attend, like, I'm good. I don't drink anymore. Well, I shouldn't say she doesn't drink anymore because she does. I shouldn't say she doesn't drink anymore because she kind of does. And then we see the two ladies cheersing with alcoholic beverages with what looks like, a drink. And then Vicki and her talking goes, she doesn't drink and drive. She took it upon herself to do what she had to do to be a better person. And we see Vicki downing her drink on stage. And I just will say this, Shannon has gotten such a, obviously this is a long road for her, but she's got such a good opportunity and so many people supporting her that I really do hope she is properly facing these demons that have haunted her in the past. That's all I'll say about that, because she does have so much support. And then anyways, we hear Doug Buten's voice go, I think we have one more song in you, don't you, ladies? And then they put on their little show hats, and Shannon's like, we have tap shoes on. In a talking head, Shannon says, being able to go on the road, it saved me. It's so much fun. I mean, it's positive compared to all the negative in my life. And we see them do their little soft shoe number, and it's really cute. Okay. And then we see another car pull up to Jen's, and it's Fun Lexi, Alexis Bellino. And she comes out, and the song they put behind her walking in is like, you a boss, and you're looking like it. You a boss, and you're looking like it. You a boss. You a boss. And Lexi walks in, Alexis, and goes, oh, so pretty. The foyer, so pretty. And she comes out and she goes, I missed you. Oh, she comes over to Heather and kisses her. And somebody says, oh, she's so excited today. Oh, wow. I missed you. She keeps saying, should I sit here? And then Heather goes, Alexis, thank you for coming to the GLAAD Awards. And Alexis says, what you do makes me feel like I can move forward in my life with my battle is. And then Heather goes, I love you. Really? We're at I love you? Heather, I mean, God, I love you? So Lexi goes, thank you. Thank you. And I'm like, Heather, do you really love Alexis? Or are you loving somebody complimenting you? And then Heather goes, you look beautiful. I wish you had brought John Janssen, honestly, to the GLAAD Awards. And there's like just kind of a pause. And I was like, first off, Heather, you wish she had brought John Janssen? What? And this is almost like a cue for Alexis, like almost like, get those tears going, get those tears going. And she like touches her hair. She's like, Heather goes, because it's such a personal thing, and I know how he supports you. And she's like, uh-huh. Alexis is like, uh-huh. He, and she's like holding back the tears. I promised I wouldn't cry. And Gina's like, are you okay? I feel like what's going on? What's going on? And she's like, your energy is different. And everyone's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Heather goes, are you going to tell us? And then Alexis goes, I don't have anything except to say I'm exhausted. It's been a long couple of days. And Tamra goes, you and John are okay. And Alexis goes, no, John and I are great. I just had sex with him earlier. What's happened? And her accent comes, she's like, what's happening? She almost starts sounding like Gina. She's like, what's happening is, oh, I can't fake it with you girls. I can't. Like she starts like, I can't fake it with you girls. Starts sounding like Seth Marks. I can't fake it with you girl. You girls just pulled it out of me with your good questions. The questions was, how are you? She's like, oh, I've got to come clean. Oh, I must tell my story. Oh, well, I see you're going to just keep asking. I might take, and I feel like it's very Sandovalian. Like, oh, and then Heather's like, spit it out, sister. And then Lexi goes, each of you truly are my girls. Truly are my girl. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, take it down all the notches. You guys are truly my girls. We're all girls, right? You promised we are all girls. This is the dream team right here. Like that's it. It just feels that vibe. This is the perfect group right here. And Tamra finally screams, what happened? What happened? What happened? And Gina's like, what happened? What happened? Tell us what happened. Tell us. I almost felt like they were all screaming so much that I thought we were about to break into a musical number of like, summer loving, having a blast. But they're all like, just give her a second. Heather says, just give her a second. And she just starts dabbing her eyes. Lexi's like, not fun, Lexi. It's sad, Lexi. Just dab. We come back from a commercial. We hear the screaming. What happened? Blah, dab. So she's like, let me collect myself. And Tamra goes, is it a Shannon thing? Tamra says that. A pause. And Lexi goes, it's all of the legal battle, period. Pause from the group. She's crying. And Jeana kind of like just going, yeah, okay. Well. Emily in a talking head goes, all I can assume is that the legal dispute has gotten more intensified and it's affected her emotionally. She actually says that in the scene. In a talking head, Jeana goes, I can totally understand how it's very difficult to have to deal with someone's ex and all that baggage and all the problems. Certainly I can, because by the way, that's what she's alluded is happening with Travis. And Jeana continues, my instincts when I have no choice but to deal with it is still to move away from it. I don't understand why John and Alexis keep moving towards it. Jeana, the voice of flippin' reason. Anyways, like Tamra, I think, and Emily are like, I gotta go to the bath. I gotta go take a piss. And Tamra's like, I gotta go find a nice piece of cement to take a piss on. And Jeana moves over to sit next to Alexis, and Alexis is like, can you see that I'm hurt? Can you see that I'm hurting? Can you see it? Am I showing? Is it obvious? Do you think the cameras can pick up on it? I don't want to be too subtle here. Can you see it? Okay, good. But it's like, wait, it's all the legal stuff. Like me and John are fine, but it's just all this legal stuff. The legal stuff that John is continuing. The dude, you are in this dude's ear. And I'm like, if this is affecting you this way, the love of your life should see that. But part of me thinks this is completely fake and that they're in this together. So Gina's like, I could see from the second you walked in the door. And I'm telling you, it's unfortunate that that's all getting in the way of all of it because who you are is enough, Alexis. Very kind and potentially untrue comment from Jeana. And Alexis is like, I'm so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of fighting. And Gina's like, yeah, I know. Tired of fighting. Then just stop. He offered to give you the money. And then Alexis is like, and I told Johnny, I said, Johnny, this is too soon. We weren't supposed to meet this soon. You needed to meet me 6 months later. It was not supposed to happen this way. And I mean, that now I'm like, wait, it's not the legal thing. It's like, now that you met John Janssen too soon, do you mean you met him too soon? Like, he should have already sued Shannon, and not like, what, like, all of a sudden it's too soon. And I understand that idea of that. Like, oh, I didn't think love would find me right here, right now. And I understand that. Anyways, in a talking head, Lexus goes, I just lost my mom. I just broke up with my fiance. Remember, she was engaged. They just broke up before she met John. And she says, and the baggage that's coming with his ex relationship, it's everywhere I go. Well, I mean, it's everywhere you go. Yeah, I mean, you did choose to be with the dude and then come back on the show. I mean, it's all things that, I mean, really could have been prevented, but the heart wants what the heart wants, right? All of this could have been prevented, though. And also, if you say it's too much baggage with your ex, this love of your life, John, who you're now engaged to, should have been able to see it, or you should be honest enough with him to be able to, where he would be like, this is too much on you. We got the money from her. That's what we wanted. We can stop. So somebody's not telling some part of the truth here. So Alexis tells Gina, this is more than I thought I was going to take on. In a talking head, she says, I don't know how to get out of it unless I just walk away from it. But breaking up with John is not an option. I will not break up with that man. No. Now, in the house, Tamra and Emily goes, honestly, I was kind of relieved Shannon wasn't here, because I was like, oh, we can just all have a good, undramatic night. But this is wackadoodle. We are at wackadoodle town, Emily said. We are at wackadoodle town. Alexis is being wackadoodle. I got a ticket to the wrong place. And Tamra's agreeing. Yes, yes. And Emily goes, I wanted a ticket to girls' night, not a fucking whack town. I wanted a ticket to girls' night, not a fucking whack town. I'm dressed up like Janet Jackson. Want to show my moves with a fun girls' night. Not boarding a train to whack town, where you got a wackadoodle talking about a court case that they are pursuing. Cause she's wackadoodle fun Lexi. A wackadoodle fun Lexi. Anyways, Tamra says something actually very funny. She goes, so Emily, John has a type. And Emily goes, and Emily does the Shannon Beador hand motion. And we see Alexis outside talking to Gina. And she's like, I'm just literally, Gina, like, it's a lot. I want to have fun with everybody tonight. And she's doing wacky hand motions. Maybe John Janssen does have a type. Like, heavily dramatic type. I mean, that was a great observation from Tamra. But Alexis is like, I want to have fun with everybody tonight. I'm fun Lexi. And Gina goes, can you rally? And she goes, can you help me, Gina? I was like, are they about to kiss? She's like, can you help me? And she's like, yeah, I can help you. I promise you. You want to go to the bathroom? And Alexis is like, yeah, let's go to the bathroom. I'm going to touch up my makeup. All right, come on. I got you. All right. And Lexi's like, we're going to do a touch up in the bathroom, me and Jeannie. And then we're going to come back and rally. And, anyways, they're coming in and Tamra's like, let's hide, and gets on the floor. Tamra does this hiding bit a lot. So they're like hiding behind the kitchen island and the chair when they come in to go to the bathroom. And so, yeah, good for Gina. By the way, I wish the cameras followed them in for this makeup session that they did to retouch up, because that would have been a real conversation. Anyways, the girls walk in to do the makeup. The other ladies are hiding. And then outside, Jen Pedranti brings a game. And Heather's like, oh my God, is there a game? Oh, it's Jenga. Okay. Is it Jenga? And then Heather goes, is it mean Jenga? Is it a mean Jenga? Is it a Jenga with Heather's like, I've been burned by mean Jenga before. And Jen's like, yeah, it's a question Jenga. And so Emily and Tamra, while they're in the bathroom, they can now get up and run out and get back a drink. So they make a run for it outside where the mean Jenga is being set up. And Jen says, you get to write a truth or a dare on each of these big blocks. And Tamra's like, what does that mean? And I was like, do you mean truth or do you mean the game? Like Tamra's like, what does truth mean? And Emily goes, no, you just have to write like a truthful question or a dare. And Jenn goes, what's your favorite position? Like, that's a question. And Emily goes, what's going on in your lawsuit currently? Heyo, Emily on fire. And Gina comes out. She's like, I recollected. I'm ready. Is recollected like, is that the word? Like, I recollected. I'm ready. And Tamra's like, well, Jenn's like, welcome, Alexis. And Emily in a talking head goes, I've had enough of Alexis. She's annoying and just loony. She's just loony. Fun Lexi says again, I recollected myself with Jenn's makeup. Jenn looks like, I fucking need that. I only have so much money. Are you kidding me? Emily in a talking head goes, Jenn has dogs. I'm sure there's a dog muzzle around here somewhere. I wish you would just go get it and just smack it on her. Damn, Emily. Emily going for it. Okay, so we start and Jenn goes, Alexis, you go first. You're having a night. Just pull a block. Do like a truth or do a dare. And, you have so many to choose from. And Alexis pulls one and she goes, who do you hate? Who wrote this? Alexis says. And then Alexis goes, I hate the devil. Fuck you, devil. You're going in the fire. And then she throws the fucking big Jenga block in the outdoor gas fire. A gas fire is not going to burn this thing, but also don't fucking burn somebody's big Jenga set. It's a big Jenga set. That's more expensive than the smaller Jenga sets. And Heather's like, no, it's not a real fire. You can't do that. But you also can't do that anyways. You can't burn somebody's game. And Gina's like, I want to see that burning. I want to see it burning. Yeah. And Jenn, they have a shot of Jenn just going, oh boy, this isn't even my house. Jeez. So Gina reads her question. She's like, of course I got this one. How big is his dick? And then we flash back to Shannon last season going, let's talk about Travis and his this big penis and does a very small penis motion. And Gina in the scene goes, it's big enough. Poor Travis, man. Poor Travis. Even if you don't have a big dong, you have the spirit of a man with the biggest dong ever. I believe in you, Travis. So now it's Heather's turn. And hers is just bark like a dog. And she barks like a dog. And it's, it's cute. And then Katie gets one, is like, show Tamra her butthole. And she actually does. Like Katie pulls up her dress and shows Tamra. And you can just, Tamra loves, she's like, I saw her butthole. I saw her butthole. It's really pretty, Tamra says. Tamra says there's no better way to get to know somebody than, looking at their butthole. I wonder if she's looked at Freddie Mellencamp's butthole. Do you think that's got to be? They're so close. They work so well together. Tamra says there's a reason why dogs sniff each other's asses before they become friends. Now, Tamra pulls one and it says, take off your pants and pee in the yard. And Emily was the one that wrote that. And Alexis is taking it. She's like, oh, you wrote this, Emily. What? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And you guys, I shit you not. Tamra pulls up her shirt. She doesn't even go into the yard. She goes right in front of them on the cement and just leans down looking at them. And she's peeing on the sidewalk cement. And Emily's like, I said in the yard. And she's smiling there. And Gina's like, even the dogs go in the grass. And you guys, then she takes a cup and takes pool water and splashes the concrete to get the pee. I've seen a lot in my day covering the Housewives, but Tamra pissing on the cement. It's been such a tough year on all of us. And then to see this, I was just, I was like, what? Gina's like, we can't sell Ryan's house now. The property value's gone down. No, it was really, truly disgusting. It was just really, really horrible. No wonder this Dawson doesn't want to come home. He's like, Mom, you have grown women peeing on our cement. How am I supposed to feel safe here? I don't know. It's so weird. Now, Emily asked Heather a question. Emily's like, hey, we're done with this fun Jenga now that Tamra's pissed on the cement. Can I ask you a question, Heather? When you asked for our measurements, right? When you asked for our measurements at your event, But by the way, she does say, when you asked for our measurements, she says measurements. When you asked and texted for our measurements and you told us all of the things to bring, right? You asked me to bring jeans, Heather. I was like, right, yeah. So when I got there, Heather, I thought everybody else was bringing jeans too. And Heather goes, no, everyone had different things. And Emily goes, what bothered me and what was hurtful to me was that when I realized when we all walked out at the end, that I was the only one that didn't have anything on by Susan Bender, who was the designer, you guys. Emily goes, I had to bring my own pants. And Heather goes, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And Emily goes, I had a little moment where I went to the bathroom and I actually cried a little bit. And everybody's like, oh, why? And Heather has this like mopey face, like the emoji. We're like, oh. And Emily goes, because I felt like I was singled out. And Emily starts crying. So like I felt like I was the girl that couldn't fit into the pants that everybody else had on. And Heather's like, no. And Emily goes, it really killed me. And Heather's like, I'm so sorry you felt like that. And Emily goes, I felt like I was singled out. I wasn't as small as everyone else. And Fun Lexi is like arms over Emily's shoulder, which I don't think Emily probably loved. And Tamra goes, I don't think Heather would ever do that. In a talking head, Emily goes, I think Emily has a great body, Heather says. And we flash back to Heather complimenting Emily's ass. And Heather says, I don't understand why all these insecurities are coming out now towards me. In a scene, she goes, I would never do that. I would never do that. And she's like, this isn't even about her too. You know, this isn't even about you. It's about her. And Heather goes, I wanted to make sure you had 3 changes. I wanted you to have one more thing. And Emily's like, I know that you wouldn't do anything malicious. And I never think that about you. But I worked so hard for the past like 15 months to lose weight. And Heather goes, I thought I was giving you a starring role. I'm so sad that you feel that way. Listen, some of the girls only had 2 changes and some had 3. And Emily goes, no, I knew that. And now like Fun Lexi is like fully like glommed on to Emily, thinking she's being very supportive. And then this is where it kind of gets sour because Emily's talking and then Heather goes, my turn. I will talk. My turn. I wanted to make sure that you felt like a fucking star. She used the F word. And Emily goes, I didn't even feel good in that dress because Alexis was in the same dress. And Alexis, like, she leans back with her head, like, oh no, now I'm in it. Oh no. And Katie goes, on top of the size 12 dress. She said Alexis's was like size 2. And Heather goes, that's not my fault. That's not fair. In a talking head, Heather goes, I didn't size them. They gave me their measurements. I sent them to Susan Bender. They chose the appropriate size. And this is where Heather, I think, went too far. She goes, and I have news for you. The dress was tight on Emily. It wasn't too big. That you didn't need to say. Come on, Heather. You did not need to say. But now Emily's fully triggered in this scene. And she's like, why don't you ever just sit back and say, you know what, Emily, I don't think of it like that. And Heather goes, I just said that. Which she did kind of say. But Lexi goes, Heather did say that. My best friend Heather did say that. And Emily goes, no, you're not, Heather. You're being rude. And Heather goes, I did say that. And Alexis gets up. Alexis stands up. And Alexis is like, and now you're claiming me about comparing me to you. Oh, and she puts her hands. Ah. And Emily goes, why are you talking? Why are you even talking, Fun Lexi? And in a talking head, Katie goes, hi, you're hot. What? You mean that I'm ugly? No, I mean you're hot. You meant that I'm ugly? The telephone in this group. And Lexi goes, Emily, no, you just said because you're next to me in this dress. I did nothing in this at all. And Emily goes, I never said you did. Heather goes, I've apologized. I've said all those things, but you want to keep coming after me? And Emily's like, I'm not. This is now it's like, we didn't need to get there. Is this the frozen margaritas? We didn't how did Heather get activated? Emily, though, you should have thrown in, you should have thrown in something about the paparazzi. Emily goes, I'm not coming for you, Heather. I'm just talking about myself. She's talking about her experience. Heather personalized it because Emily did use some certain words. Like I can see where it happened, but it's going way too far. And Gina's like, I don't think she's trying to put you on to fire, Heather, which I'm like, be careful, Gina. Heather's going to be like, you don't support me, you know? And Heather goes, I heard you and I just apologized to you. And Emily goes, but this is not an apology. Even Tamra looks confused by this argument. And then Lexi goes, you did apologize, Heather. And Emily goes, you shut up. My God. And Lexi goes, did you tell me to shut up? And Emily goes, yes, you just brought me into this, Lexis says. And Emily goes, I didn't bring you into this. And Alexis is like, I'm not going to show up. And then Emily goes, you're a wackadoodle. Whatever. Go. You've been a wackadoodle all night. Katie in the talking head goes, maybe I should have gone to Shannon's show instead. Hey-oh. So Alexis sits down like with her hand on her head and just like, oh, how did we get here? Katie makes the prayer hands. And we go to commercial, and I'm like, what's going to happen now? We come back to this house. Where's Ryan, by the way? Is he upstairs, like drinking a Red Bull? So we come back. Everybody's like, you shut up. I'm not going to shut up. Blah, 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 blah. Wackadoodle. I love wackadoodle as a word. You know, and Emily just goes, you're a complete wackadoodle. You know, Katie says, I think Heather gets really defensive when she's not painted in this perfect light. And Tamra comes up to Heather, and Heather goes, not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And Katie goes, instead of just listening, apologizing, and moving on, she makes it about her. Well, there is a little teeny bit of, like, I can see Heather, but like, there is a little bit, like, Heather, you're above this. You do not need to, it's just a quick apology. But Heather, bam. And then Emily goes up to Heather and goes, can I just talk to you, just you and me, please? And Heather goes, you wanted to talk to me in front of everyone, Emily. Did you want to yell? And Emily goes, do you want to yell? Do you want to do that? And Heather goes, I wasn't yelling. And Emily's like, I'm asking you to have a conversation between the two of us. But Emily's heated. She's using heated person voice. And Heather goes, well, you should have done that over there. And points at Emily with the finger. And Emily goes, don't point at me. Like, these are like maybe the testosterone point. Don't point at me. Pushes Heather's hand down. And Emily goes, you want to have a conversation? And Heather's like, stop being rude to me. And Emily goes, you're the one being rude. You're being cold and you're being condescending. And I'm asking you to have a conversation. And Heather goes, can you be quiet for a second? And Emily goes, no, fuck off. And turns around and walks away. And Heather goes, all right. And then Alexis keeps going, Emily just brought me into you. She brought me into it. Normally, I love being brought into things. Oh, she brought me into it. Alexis. And Gina goes, I heard, you know, but come on. And Jen goes, she was just trying to talk. She was just trying to talk, Alexis. And Emily goes, I didn't bring anybody into it. It was between Heather and me, and she won't even talk to me because now she's pissed. And Alexis goes, I am at my lowest point right now. And she was like, she gave you a compliment, actually, because the size of that, she gave you a compliment, right? You know, she complimented you. But Alexis is like, I'm at my lowest. And you said, how dare you put me in a dress next to Alexis? So now we continue with people not fucking being able to hear at all. And Alexis, Emily, it just starts her right back. She's like, that's not what I said. And Jen's like, that's actually more of a compliment. That's what it is. And I was like, that's not what I said. And we flash back to what we just heard. Like, that's how, like, guys, we remember it. But they show that Emily did say, you know, what she said, she said. And Alexis goes, I'm already broken. I'm already a broken bird. I'm Alexis, the fun. Alexis is a broken bird. And Emily goes, oh my gosh. And Alexis is like, I'm already broken. And the talking head Alexis goes, I just took the hanger and put the outfit on my body. And somehow I'm now at fault. And Gina's like, she's like saying you're so beautiful that she felt insecure. And Alexis not hearing it. She's like, I'm already going through the shit. And a talking head Emily goes, all I can think is she looks like a big fucking giraffe in the outfit she's wearing. Emily's like, she's got like a striped tight dress on. I need a zookeeper to capture this thing and take it back to the Looney Zoo. Emily. Hell, Emily. Wow. Tamra tells Fun Lexi, you did nothing wrong. This is not okay. This is not fucking okay, she says as she's walking in with Heather Dubrow. Tamra, this is not fucking okay. In Talking Head, Tamra goes, she threw this big old charity event fashion show. Like, do you really think she has time to be like, let me single out Emily and fat shame her? That's just not Heather's character. By the way, I think we all know that. Even I think Emily knows that. But what I was saying earlier, though, when you have these feelings about yourself, they overrule sometimes even logic. Yes, I do not think Heather any of this. But that comment from Heather was not right. But like Tamra, this is not needed. It's like, yeah, we all are on the same page. Just Emily has her feelings. But Tamra goes, I would do that, but that's not Heather's character. And then Gina goes to Emily. Gina's like, can I give you a hug like Carl did on Summer House to Lindsay? And they hug. And Gina's like, I know this is a real thing for you. I mean, Gina, this is a real friendship. And Emily's like, I said it. And Gina's like, I feel badly because I feel like she said all the right things. Yeah, with Heather, but it's like because she feels like she's on the defense rather than just seeing you in your heart and that this is an actual pain point for you. Yes, Gina nails it. Inside the house, Heather is still now, she's ranting. She's like, Tamra, are you telling me that when I'm raising money for family equality, that she's in the bathroom crying because I made her bring jeans? Are you telling me that's what happened? And Tamara's like, yeah, there's bigger things to fry in the world, baby. Are you fucking kidding me? We gave you your flowers, Heather. You are amazing. I know Emily thinks you're amazing at all. Like, what? And then Alexis, once again, like goes, yeah, to all of that. And then she throws me into it. And she's like, oh, and then you put me in a dress next to her. I didn't know. Alexis is screaming. Like, what are we even doing here? Did Tamra's like piss on the concrete, like have noxious fumes that made everybody crazy? Gina's walking in with Emily, goes, I think that we're just a little off as a group, you know? It's like there's some fucking cloud over us or some shit. Gina nails it again. So Emily and Gina walk in. The rest of the girls are in there, like pissed. And there's a quiet. And Gina's like, I think we're gonna head out right now. And Emily is looking at everybody, looking at her. And Emily's like, you don't have to look at me like that. And Heather's like, no, I'm upset. I can look at you like this if I'm upset. And Emily goes, well, I'm upset too. I didn't do anything to you, Emily, Heather says. And Emily goes, I didn't say you did. But then when I started to say what I wanted to say, you were pissed. And Heather goes, no, you kept going. No, sorry. Alexis says, no, you kept going. And Emily goes, I didn't ask you. And then Emily goes, shut the fuck up. And Alexis goes, I don't give a fuck what you say. And Emily goes, Jesus Christ. And Alexis goes, I don't give a shit what you say. And Emily goes, Gina, let's go. And Alexis is like, ah. And Emily goes, you're not involved in this. You're a friend. Shut the fuck up. Like basically, like you're a friend of, shut the fuck up. And Alexis goes, oh my God. And she's like, this was a lovely night. This was a very lovely night. And then Alexis in the talking head goes, you're right, Emily. I am a friend. And I'm a true friend. So you know what, Emily? You can fuck off. And Gina's like, I had a great time. Have a good night. And Emily exiting the door goes, shut up, Alexis. Go fuck John some more. You fucking idiot. Boom. Oh, next time on The Real Housewives of Orange County. And we see an exam room where Terry's going under for something and Heather's kissing her. And then Gina having a conversation with some of the girls going, Alexis yesterday said so much is going to come out tomorrow. And Tamra goes, he's retaliating. Obviously, John Janssen. And then we have another scene of Shannon, like, I think, bawling. And then we have a scene of Katie saying Ryan went on a podcast and bashed Tamra and Eddie to her husband. And then Ryan in a dinner scene, because I feel I am validated in everything I said. And we see that Tamra and Eddie are there. And Tamra says, are you fucking kidding me? I don't think anybody is prepared to see who the real Ryan is. And then Tamra goes, how's the FBI going for you? And Jen goes, FBI? And we just see Ryan just go, ooh, you guys, what a fiery end to this episode. Woo! Feel alive. I feel like I just got testosterone pellets. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I know these are extra long, but I hope you enjoy some of them at least. And that's it, you guys. I'm going to go rest up my voice. I got a Q&A for the Patreon tomorrow, and then be back Monday for an all new pop culture roundup. And just enjoy the rest of your weekend, you guys. We got tons of shows this past week to catch up on. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for everything. And anything I said today on this show, that stays between us, right? This is the trust circle. Just keep it in the vault. Bye, guys.